Well, good morning. It's good to be with you on this Monday morning. Almost at Friday. I guess my brain still wants it to be Friday. It's not Friday, it's Monday. So it's good to be with you on this Monday morning as we continue together in our time in Luke as we are in Rooted. We are continuing Luke's Gospel. We're going to be reading today from Luke chapter 20. We'll read verses 41 through the end of the chapter. We'll finish the chapter out, 41 through 47. That's Luke chapter 20, verses 41 through 47. Then he said to them, how can they say that the Messiah is David's son? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Thus David calls him Lord, so how can he be his son? In the hearing of all the people, he said to the disciples, beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and love to be greeted with respect in the markets, and to have the best seats in synagogues and places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for all the sake of appearances say long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation. So Jesus here is this whole chapter, chapter 20 has been in many ways a religious debate. Jesus and the religious leaders are having a debate over who he is, what he means, what all these things. They're having they're having a debate, and Jesus kind of ends the debate in Luke's gospel with this condemnation. He says, just beware of the Pharisees because, or the scribes rather, beware of the scribes and the religious leaders. And he really condemns them for missing the point of religion. So they like to walk around in long robes and love to be greeted with respect, have the best seats, place of honor. They devour widows' houses for the sake of appearance, say long prayers. One of Jesus' great and consistent cautions and warnings to us is the warning about shows of religion. The warning about our religious devotion and our religious dedication. The warning that this should not be done for appearance sake. Our religion being done for appearance sake is one of the most dangerous things that I think we can do as Christians, are one of the most dangerous things that we can have tempt our soul. Because it feels good to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces. Feels good to have the best seats, the synagogue or the banquet. It feels good to say long prayers, to look overly religious. But that's not the point of our religion, friends. The point of our religion is not for optics. The point of our religion is not so others can think well of us or say nice things about us. The point of our religion is to follow Jesus. It's to follow Jesus. That's why we do what we do. And so religion by its very nature is going to be public. I'm a preacher. I'm a clergy person. I mean, I'm recording this a day early when I preached in our contemporary service. So you're seeing me wear the traditional uniform of a 40-year-old, 50-year-old man, a quarter zip with a collared shirt. That's what we all wear. It's assigned. When you turn 45, you're given a quarter zip and you're given a collared shirt. And this is our the uniform of my people. But on most days, I'm wearing a clergy collar. I walk around town wearing a clergy collar. I joke that people like to talk to me. I said it's kind of like bird watching. They think they've seen a real preacher in the wild. So I carry myself with a religious uniform. People see me and I get doors opened. I get into the hospital a little bit quicker. I do, yes. I do. I get a good parking spot, you know, things like that at the hospital. But I cannot, I must not, I should not orient my religious life for the benefit it receives me from the public. Our religion must not be an outward showing of virtue. Our religion must be an inward transformed heart that produces authentic virtue. Does that make sense? Virtue in and of itself is not good or bad because you can show virtue. And I love this quote by Rich Mullins. Rich Mullins says, when you come to Christ, your virtues are more dangerous than your vices because your virtues will convince you that you are a good person. He said, the Holy Spirit will in time burn away your vices. In time, the Holy Spirit will sanctify you and will burn away your vices. He said, your vices as a Christian are not as dangerous to you as your virtues because your virtues will convince you that you are strong enough to do it by yourself, that you don't need the help of Jesus, and your virtues make you look good. And that can be dangerous to our soul. So Jesus is rightly warning us, be careful of these public showings of religion because if we're doing it, and yet what's really happened is we're far away, if we're praying long prayers but devouring the homes of widows, we'll receive the greater condemnation. We'll find ourselves in more judgment than those who we would perceive as wicked. So be careful. Be careful of the trappings of public religion. Be careful that your religion is not simply things you post on social media or music that you listen to in your car or bumper stickers upon your car or things like that. That's not your religion, friends. It's not your devotion to Jesus. It's an outward sign of something that may be there, but it's very easy for us to mistake public acts that we do so others see them. It's very easy for us to mistake public acts that are done for the approval of others, to mistake that for an authentically transformed heart that is seeking after Jesus Christ. Public acts of religion are it's a double-edged sword because we want to live our life in a way that brings praise to Christ. We want to live our life in a way that glorifies Christ. We want to live our life in a way that does point others to Him, but we want to be very careful to not be these religious leaders who live a life outward facing to seek praise, but inside have missed the entire point. When I was, I've shared the story before, but when I was a freshman in college, I'd gotten saved my senior year of high school, and I was, I was, I was really on fire for Jesus. I really was. And but I had not yet really. I was quite proud of my newfound religion, and I would often look down upon others who, in my mind, were not seeking after Jesus the same way that I was, and that I believe were not as holy as I was. That I was definitely the one that was the holiest in the world. I jokingly said that. I mean, Lord got lucky when he got me. I was definitely a first round draft pick. I was a Peyton Manning or something like that. Lord really chose well when he got me. And I was a freshman in college at Cold Hen, and I remember sitting in the cafeteria, smug in my religiosity and how holy I was, and looking down my righteous nose at others, particularly those who did not pray over their meals as I thought they should. And there was this one guy came in and just looking at him, I knew he wasn't a Christian. I just knew he wasn't a Christian like me. And I thought, golly, look at that guy. Look at me and how holy I am and how much I'm chasing after Jesus. And look at how holy I am. And look at him. Look at him. And I saw him take off his hat and bow his head and pray over his meal. And I realized that I'd kind of forgotten to say my prayer that day. And I realized that maybe I needed to be a little bit slower to judge. And I understand that what God cares for is the heart, not the outward action. Starts with the heart, friends. So let's be careful. Let's be careful that our religion is not an outward facing thing only, that it starts with a transformed heart. Thanks for being with us today, friends. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in the morning as we move into Luke chapter 21. Have a great day.